going on, guys? Joey Francis here at Flex Training Systems. Today we're going to be talking about specialty bars. I recently got asked by one of my former lifters in Spain if I could give a statement on specialty bars, and I said, you know what? I could give you this statement. I guess they're writing a book. It's going to be published in Spain. I don't know, something like that. So it got me thinking, you know what? This might be a nice quick little topic to talk about. Let me just read you guys what I said to him. A little sneak peek. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let's see. Oh snap! No. But yeah, I mean, I hear this stuff all the time, and I just wanted to kind of clear it up. So anyway, here we go. This is what I said. Personally, I like to use specialty bars only if absolutely needed. You can use them to save the shoulders, for example, with the SSB, or perhaps take a break from the comp lift during an off season. But I almost never use them as a main driver of a comp lift. Specificity is king when it comes to increasing 1 rep max. The main value of specialty bars would be to continue to train while mitigating lingering issues. I always keep an open mind. If a lifter really wants to incorporate such specialty bars, I would consider it. So basically what I mean by that is, for example, if for whatever reason the lifter can't perform the high bar squat, which is like very, very, very rare. Even my biggest lifters, big immobile lifters, can do the high bar squat. If they can't, I wouldn't be opposed, or if they had a shoulder injury or whatever, I wouldn't be opposed to the SSB. Now the SSB, because it's got that pad, it's gonna stay a little bit higher, which is gonna change the angle. I don't know about you guys, but I feel my back a ton when I use that bar, and I actually can't go very heavy on it despite my low bar squat being, you know, decent. All right, you know what I mean? That's kind of like my philosophy behind it and how I like to use them. You know, let's say you don't want to do an SSB, but you could do a buffalo bar because it's a little bit easier on your shoulders or whatever. I mean, it's similar. You're gonna get a similar effect, and I wouldn't be opposed to it. Some people, they might have an ailment, and this goes way back to the personal training days. If I would get someone that wouldn't know how to deadlift, you could start them out super easy on a hex bar. Granted, I would try to get them to regular deadlifts as soon as possible, but you know, if you guys have ever tried the hex bar, you feel the stress more kind of centered around your entire body as opposed to more on your back or whatever. It really works your traps, and for me personally, I felt it a lot in my core. I have some imbalances that I believe is just from years of mixed grip on deadlift. I also have very short arms. I have the world's shortest arms, and I have the longest torso in existence, which is why my squat ain't so, you know, my squat's fine, but my deadlift is shit. And when I do the hex bar, because it is a symmetrical thing, it is, you know, it's a hex, it's a hexagon, right? You're standing in the middle, the weights are even, and you're holding it evenly. Any ailments that I have, I kind of feel them, you know what I mean? And I remember one time I strained my oblique or my back, something really bad doing the hex bar, because I had trained for so long on the deadlift bar, or not the deadlift bar, I'm looking at deadlift bar on deadlifts, right? This is way early in my career. I didn't understand what the heck I was doing, and it might be something to look into, you know, now that I think about it. You know, a hex bar early, I'm talking beginner lifters, it might be something beneficial for them to kind of build their core a little bit and things like that. Early on, it can help work your grip, it helps work your traps. Some people call it a trap bar, right? But these specialty bars, they can serve a purpose. I don't think they're completely useless. But if I have a lifter that's healthy, they don't have any injuries, they can squat, bench, and deadlift perfectly fine, and that's what we're trying to increase, then specificity is going to take over, and that's what we're going to focus most of our efforts on, right? The body adapts to what you give it to adapt to. Early on, you can kind of make general strength progress and increase things that way, but I think the more specific you get and the more specialized you get, you're going to need to focus on one specific area. Now there's a lot of different bars here. I don't know if I'm going to bring everyone up, but I'm just going to go through each bar, kind of see where this bar might be useful and if I would use it or not. Let's see here. So we're gonna start off earthquake bar. I don't know. Some people call it a bamboo bar. This is basically what it looks like, right? You can put bands on it, and it can help, I guess, build stability. I don't have a good use for this bar. I would probably never use it. I don't like doing things unstable like this. I think lifting weights should be controlled, maybe for fun. I mean, you got the tsunami bar right here. You know, maybe if you just want to teach people some stability or things like that. Maybe if you're rehabbing someone. I don't even know if that'd be a good rehab tool. If you just had like a general population person that's never lifted before. But as far as for powerlifters, I don't see your bench really going up a ton, getting really good with this bar. That's just me personally. If the strongest bencher in the world, if you guys could show me someone that increases their weight on this, it has to be more than one person. Like, we need enough to make a conclusion. Then you know, I'm not gonna be using the EQ bar anytime soon. So SSB, you guys, everybody knows the SSB. You know, here's a picture of it right here. Shout out to this guy. Like I said, if you have bad shoulders and you want to get a little bit more upper back work, I mean, I think it can be fine. But in my opinion, it's more of a back movement than a leg movement, meaning that for, at least for me, and I would say most people, you're going to feel your back way before you're ever going to feel stress on your legs, if that makes sense. Now, if you have a ridiculously strong back, it might take later on in the workout before you even start to feel your back, and maybe you are hitting legs. But for me personally, and I will say that for some people, it's not going to make too much of a difference between this and high bar. But for me personally, I feel my back way before my legs even really get stressed. So it's not a practical leg builder for me. It could be a core, you know, back type of deal. What do we got next? The hex bar we kind of already talked about. Buffalo bar, you know, I spelled that wrong. It's got this bend in it. Here's a picture if you guys don't know. It just makes it, I don't know. To me, the Buffalo bar feels worse than squatting with a straight bar. So I mean, take that with what you will. And it can also rock a little bit. I know there are people that really like this bar. I mean, I don't know if they like it just because it kind of like changes the angle, right? So instead of your arms having to be straight and your wrists kind of bent like that, you have a little bit of relief by bending. I would say it's more specific to a regular low bar back squat than the SSB, so it could be better in that sense. If you can get this in a nice low bar position, I could see it being pretty useful. And you might be able to build strength on this. But for me personally, that bend towards the outside actually would, you know, it really hurts my wrist. So, I mean, I don't really like it. Like I said, it's all about protecting the shoulders and trying to figure out what you want to get out of these bars. Now, the football bar. I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of these things. This is like something I would put in just in the off season for fun. Because of the way that it's shaped, it is going to work your wrist a little bit, and I've actually hurt my wrist one time on it. But it's like this one right here. If you see this kind of grip in the middle, you can do it. It actually feels kind of good on your joints to do kind of a close grip underhand bench with it. You can do close grip normal. It might help work the long head of your tricep a little bit more. It's just like kind of a thing to do for fun in the off season to switch it up. Shout out to Gronk Fitness. But I mean, like I said, if we're in powerlifting prep or anything like that, I don't see a place for this bar. Maybe like for fun as an accessory, but like I said, the instability portion of it is why it's unattractive for me personally. When I look at it, I'm like, there's a good amount of instability there. I feel like I'd rather just have the stability and lift more weight, or whatever is going to be specific to the comp lift. That isn't inhibiting my range of motion like a Smith machine, for example. But yeah, I mean, I have used this bar after me, I believe, in my middle bench day just to mess around because we got one at Zoo. But I can't tell you the last time I used it. Now the cambered bar. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Cambered bar. I've used this thing extremely few times, and I didn't like it because I felt the swinging of it. In my opinion, it could be a little bit dangerous. I've never tried to bench with it. I don't even want to say too much on it because it's not something that I've really experienced. I've really messed with too much, and I don't see too much practical application. There's probably a bunch of Westside people that are gonna be like, "Oh, you don't know anything." Well, that's fine. You can think what you want to think, brothers. But I just don't use it. Like I said, specificity is king, and I think if you guys look at the vast majority of lifters that are doing really, really well in the drug-free scene, that seems to be what's going on. Now, deadlift bar, I actually have a perhaps surprising take. What the hell is this? So deadlift bar, let's see if we can find one that's really bendy. Jesus, Texas. Okay, so basically deadlift bar, I'll tell you guys where personally I felt some benefit from it. Because of the way that I'm built, and you know how much rounding I have in my back, and for people whose back doesn't really round, the deadlift bar can allow, you know, the point in which you're gonna have to really apply tension into the bar to get it to break the ground, to be at a little bit more advantageous of a position in terms of leverage, and maybe you feel less stress in your body. You know, if you're a little bit more towards lockout versus from the bottom. Me personally, I can do tons of volume on it, okay? And it doesn't really bother my back because I'm not stressing my body super low to the ground like I am on a stiff bar. So for me personally, I mean, it's not enough to the point where I'm not going to use a stiff bar, but if you're avoiding some kind of ailment, and like if you were a bodybuilder and you just wanted to work the deadlift bar, I mean, I wouldn't even do it. Just do it. I mean, it is easier. You are going to be lifting a lot more weight than you normally could have. But you know, you got everything should be tailored towards what you want. If your goal is to compete and, you know, on an Alico bar, then use the stiffest bar you can possibly find. If you have small hands and you just want to lift for fun or just for health reasons, and you know you want to also work your grip, then the deadlift bar is a good option. It's shorter, or sorry, it's thinner. It's got no knurling in the middle, so it doesn't get caught. And I don't mind it. I just don't really program it, and I only put it in if people need to use it in competition. But like I said, again, with these specialty bars, if we're working around injuries and we are preventing, like, if you can train with a specialty bar, that is better than not being able to train. Does that make sense? But if you can train with a straight bar and you're trying to be specific to what you're going to do in competition, then go ahead and do that. Someone had mentioned the spider bar. I don't even know, brother. There's like a million bars that came up. Really quickly while we're here, there's this kind of bar, right? This is a Cambridge spider bar. All right, that's not what I'm looking for. Anyway, it's like that. I don't even know what it's called. Yoke bar. I don't know. The one where you can get the bar kind of lower on your back. To mimic a low bar. It's like a low bar version of an SSB. That bar might be fun to use. But I'm trying to find an actual spider bar. I don't even know. The one that I'm thinking of has like these things in the front, and you can kind of mimic a front squat position. I mean, if I can't even find it, don't even worry about it. It's not gonna make that big of a difference. The last one is the axle bar. I don't even remember the last time. Axle bars are usually just any type of bar that's like thick around the middle. And you could argue that the way that you're training your grip on the axle bar is not as specific to what you would be doing in a meet. Holding a regular bar, for example, you have kind of like this fist position, as opposed to holding the bar this way. I don't know if it would translate the same. And like I said, I would just do everything as specific as you possibly can. If you care about powerlifting and increasing your lifts that way, then try to use what you're going to use in competition for the majority of your work. It's also easier to track variables that way, but integrating some of these specialty bars in an off season just for fun when you don't have a meet like forever, yeah, I mean, it's not that big a deal. But I think most people are going to feel that, like, it's just better. Like, if I can hit a PR 8 weeks post meet training on a stiff bar versus doing whatever I'm doing on these, you know, I'd rather do that. I'd rather get ahead sooner. Again, the main use for me personally with these bars is going to be avoiding injury, preventing injury, letting things cool off. If you have a bad back, maybe the other bar is safer for you. If you have bad shoulders, maybe safety bar or the fucking spider bar, cambered bar, buffalo bar, whatever is better for you. That's how I like to do it. Me personally, I'm a very hyper specialized person. I help people become the best powerlifters they can be in the squat, bench, and deadlift, and usually someone is always in prep. So I mean, I think you guys have seen that over the years. It's like, yes, if you compete twice a year, but you're always trying to get better. And you know, if you can do the main lift, just do it. So anyway, don't be afraid to open your horizons and kind of think with the, you know, like I said, open mind. You might be able to find good uses for these bars. I actually quite like the hex bar. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching. In the comments down below, let me know, have you guys used any of these bars, and did you find any benefit from it? Did you enjoy it? Is there a bar that you absolutely hate? I don't know what just popped up in the bottom of my computer, but anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.